Welcome back to my classroom. It's a beautiful day. I'm Matt Dominguez, here with another teacher-to-teacher tip, specifically now on idealism and teaching idealism. All the information on idealism is available in the workbook, in the textbook. You can watch my class on that and how I do it. Here's a couple key tips that I have found really useful that I make sure I do every time. Talk about idealism, we introduce what it is, and I even just start with ideaism or idealism. What really helps is if you have the ideal, we're thinking about this concept of perfection, that best thing, but even better yet, the ideal as an idea. For most of us, ideas are something that's abstract and not tangible. Exactly. Ideaism says that that non-tangible reality is the prime real reality. It's so perfect and so good that it doesn't really even exist here. Everything down here is just an image of that idea, that ideal perfect state. I like starting there. Ideaism, and the ideas are what's really real. Usually helps. This is probably the hardest one for students to wrap their brains around, especially in Western cultures, because we are so heavily materialistic and we like the stuff that we're holding on to. We don't want to call it shadow. Couple key things that I do. I remind students of what a shadow is, that we can see a shadow. I have them make a shadow, we can see it, but then when we go to pick it up, what is it? It's light and dust. And then we connect the dots that we're dust with light. That can help. That might be a little scary. But I think the key to remember is we're honoring this. We're saying there's truth here. And so that is an important direction to head this entire time. Another real fabulous tip is to spend as much time as you need to having kids go to imagining ideal things and then trying to find them here on earth. And so I'll take a minute right now. I have kids imagine the ideal car. They'll think about it, they'll think about the ideal car, and then we'll realize that no car company has made the ideal car that never runs out of gas, never rusts, goes forever, never breaks down. Oh yeah, that doesn't exist. But what are all the car companies trying to make? That. But it's not going to exist here. But could they think of it? Yes, because in the idea world, it's there. We think of the ideal chair because we're all sitting in chairs. That's always fun to get some responses there. But what really helps is when I have them close their eyes and to really focus on getting in their brains the ideal being, particularly the ideal human. We focus on it, we think about it. I'd be interested to get some feedback. I ask students right away, did any of them think of themselves? I have never had a student say, oh yeah, I was thinking of me, which almost proves the point of idealism. We can think of this ideal being. We know we are not it. What's our homework? To become that. The ideal human being will think perfect thoughts, have perfect behavior, do their homework perfectly, have perfect friends. They will be perfectly beautiful. And we realize we don't mind that type of ideal being existing forever. That's the point. I don't want to exist as me forever. I'm broken and misshapen, and I'm handsome, but I could use some work. And I realize I like living. I want to live longer, but I don't want to live like this forever. I want to live forever as a perfect version of me. I'd prefer that. That's idealism. And actually, you can see where the religions now are going to unpack how you as a human being need to get rid of the imperfect you and become literally that perfect being. Another key with our axioms is to remind them that with idealism, the axiom is that there is one perfect being, and none of us are it. So in order for me to become that perfect being, I will have to let go of who? Me. And if I achieve that, yes, I will let go of me. I don't mind. This is an imperfect version of me. And I will become the perfect being. We could call that God, or call it a state of existence, depending on how you interpret idealism. But the goal is to let go of the imperfect you and to become the perfect being. In many respects, the bumper sticker would be to become God. You don't get to hang out with God here. You get to actually exist as God. So then we talk a little bit about the commercial here. What's the selling point? Why is idealism maybe one of the fastest growing philosophies on the planet right now? Well, A, we like the good, the beautiful, the true, the perfect. B, we would like to exist as that. And even C, if we could figure out religious or, practical, linear ways to achieve that, even better. We can figure it out. And the commercial is that you get to then exist as perfection if and when you achieve it. A couple other quick teacher tips is to really remind them that there are people who actually believe this. There are not a lot of people who really live it, like really live out trying to achieve perfection. Although we can see how that creeps into other worldviews, like perfectionism inside of Christianity, or perfectionism inside of materialism, where we just want to try to be the perfect whoever I am, or get the perfect stuff. One last thought is to try and connect this even back to idealism as a philosophy, going to Plato with the forms, and seeing how that escalation of the soul works itself up to getting perfect friends, perfect homework, perfect face, perfect behavior, perfect everything. And we realize that this really is a works-based religion, and it's based off of you and you alone. There is no personal, creator, loving God who's going to die for you and make you perfect. And they're also not even going to help you. Even the gurus and the leaders and the teachers in idealistic religions, they show you the way. They don't empower you to do it. You have to do it yourself. And that creates some distinction when we get to theism later. Have fun with idealism. Take the time you need. It's one of the hardest and it takes the longest. That's why we start with it. But it also frames out the other ones and gives us a reference points to them. Last tip that I want to give you is really making sure that we understand that in idealism, reality, the good, the beautiful, and the true, they are objective. It is an objective, perfect standard. Part of our job is to figure out what that is and then become it. And that's tricky to do when you're a shadow, but it is objective truth. It's not a relative perspective. That needs to be super clear, especially since materialism and monism are next. Further up and further in.